Hi everyone. After receiving the endorsement of Giovanni Battista Martini during October 1770, the 14-year-old Mozart sat the admissions test for the Accademia dei Filarmonici in Bologna. The test required the candidate to complete in traditional style a four-part composition on a cantus firmus. Mozart's test was based upon an antiphon, and it's been suggested that his completed work wouldn't have been accepted by the school and was in fact swapped instead for a version by Martini. Both Mozart's and Martini's versions survive, and the comparison of the two works reveals Mozart's lack of experience composing in the required style. Whether the alleged swap actually occurred, however, is not the focus of this video, and I will instead look at each composer's settings of the same given part. Alfred Mann has detailed several points about the two works. Regarding Mozart's version, he mentions the brevity of the initial theme, which is broken in the cantus by rests, and the instrumentally conceived second theme creating hidden consecutives within the texture. Here, for example, the F in the cantus and A in the bass create hidden fifths moving to the G and D. Mann also mentions the lack of a strong cadence on F in these bars and on D at the work's conclusion. He also mentions Mozart's use of harmonies such as this Neapolitan sixth and the diminished seventh chords, which are not in style. Along with these points, we can also add the overall melodic contour of Mozart's cantus often lacks direction, frequently circling around the same note or notes, such as through these bars, where it circles around E. The second and third entries of the initial theme effectively enter together, resulting in a crossing of parts. The tenor part frequently doubles in thirds the bass, thereby losing much of its independence. There are a number of forbidden consecutives, such as here, where consecutive fifths occur between the cantus and bass, and the use of this syncopated rhythm also is not in style. Mozart appears to treat the work as being in the key of D minor and not the D Dorian mode. This, along with an apparent lack of familiarity with works of the required style, perhaps explains his inclusion of the Neapolitan and diminished seventh harmonies mentioned by Mann. It may also explain his freer use of dissonances, such as here, where between this B flat and E a melodic diminished fifth interval occurs, and here this B flat is approached by a leap, creating a harmonic diminished fifth interval with the bass's E. Here also the tenor's C sharp is tied across the bar line, creating an augmented fifth interval with the bass. Regarding Martini's version, Mann states it is related to Mozart's in almost every measure, yet it stands as a finished masterpiece against the much less polished, though amazing work of the 14-year-old Mozart. Aside from retaining Mozart's first theme, however, much of Martini's version is different. Mozart's instrumentally conceived second theme is omitted. The tenor now begins the work and moves beneath the alto's entry. The cantus's entry also now continues uninterrupted. Martini's part crossings are used for specific reasons, often to strengthen the underlying harmonies by creating root position chord progressions. Here, for example, at the cadence in F, both the cadential C and F chords are in root position. Martini creates a definite final cadence on D, adding an extra bar with an A bass note between the final Ds of Mozart's version. Martini's final cadence also uses characteristic elements of the style, such as this so-called consonant 6/4 on the second quarter note beat of the work's penultimate bar. Martini's cantus line also has more direction, with an initial descent to F and D, then E, and finally D. Also, although vertical thirds between parts still occur, Martini shifts them between different part combinations. Here, for example, they occur between the tenor and bass, and here between the cantus and bass. I hope you found this useful. Thanks for watching. See you next time.